Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to a third stimulus check and third stimulus package unemployment benefits extension update. Still feels a little bit crazy to say that we're saying that. But the breaking news, as most of you guys probably know is right now, is that we now officially have a brand new president. This week has been pretty epic. We officially now have a brand new president inside of the White House. We also have, actually interestingly, a brand new Senate as well, because that's also another major thing has changed. If you guys probably remember from about like 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had like the Senate elections. They officially flipped the blue wave, but we just have to have them physically enter into the Senate. Well, the incredibly great news is that now those brand new senators are officially inside of the Senate, and Mitch McConnell / Schumer, the Senate has officially flipped. So now every single time we reference the majority leader, we will now be talking about Schumer. And every single time we talk about Mitch McConnell, we will now be basically referencing the minority leader. So it's kind of crazy to see where things have officially gone. I know, especially because for the last several months and months that every single person was talking about how we really needed new people inside of Congress, inside of the White House. Well, the grand news is that we officially now do have brand new people inside of the White House, inside of Congress. They've officially changed up the administration, so they're kind of just slowly entering more people inside, but the president's inside, the Senate's inside now, the new senators are inside, so that is the really grand news. But in today's update, I basically want to give you guys a brand new update about where we currently stand in terms of negotiations and talks with the third stimulus check and the unemployment benefits extension, because obviously we've had a lot of really grand news that have been happening. We also have a lot of executive orders that have recently signed. I do want to maybe explain and touch up a little bit about that, what's currently going on, maybe an approximate date to when we should maybe expect the third stimulus package to maybe potentially get signed, or basically just all of the events I think that are just really important to know about. So that being said, we're going to get started. But before we begin, remember to smash the like button because it always does help to support this channel. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button for future updates on stimulus, unemployment. Feel free to check out other videos, and also feel free to consider commenting any questions, thoughts about really honestly anything at all, or maybe also whether or not you've received your stimulus or unemployment, if you guys want to, only because I know it's gotten a little bit repetitive, but at the same time there are still a lot of people that are still waiting for their stimulus, but even more people that are waiting for their unemployment. So it is just something that's still, nice to really be able to catch up on every once in a while. So with that being said, let's get started. So when it comes to the third stimulus check and third stimulus package, the big thing to know right now is that now that Biden is officially inside of the White House, he's currently right now focusing on signing a whole bunch of executive orders. I think on the very first day he signed, I believe, 17 executive orders. Just for record, I think a lot of the past presidents, the first couple of days, I believe most of the past presidents probably signed something less than 5, if even 1 executive order at all, and he basically is now just running through tons and tons of executive orders every single day. He has a plan that's sort of being created right now, or that he's currently running through, and every single day he's kind of dedicating it to some kind of theme or something to kind of solve. The very first day, almost every executive order he signed was basically focused around the pandemic, and it's important because the thing is that if we're able to kind of solve the pandemic first, because obviously this is someone's health, if we're able to take care maybe of that beforehand, then we can move on to the financial and the economic side. So the story right now is that he signed a bunch of executive orders. If you want the general breakdown, it's just basically all sorts of things to help the pandemic. So sort of like increasing contact and tracing, supplies, funding for research, funding for vaccine development, organizing logistics to kind of send out more vaccines to try to solve the pandemic as much as we possibly can. But then the next step, or now they're going to be turning their attention to what we are probably the most excited about, which is basically the third stimulus check and third stimulus package. So the story right now is that they currently have a $1.9 trillion stimulus package on the table. Now, I did make like 2 other videos that I kind of talk about what's currently in that package. Physically, I think one of them's called like unemployment extension to September 2021, because that's actually the length of the unemployment. And then there's another one that talks about the stimulus package as a whole. So definitely feel free to check that out if you're interested in the details about what's in it. But the general idea is that he currently has his package that's currently on the table. Now keep in mind is that that package, he only has it as an outline. So he doesn't have the actual official text and legal document of the bill. The story right now is that they're really just working together to try to finally put that bill together. However, then what ends up happening is that they have to take this bill and bring it into the floor and then try to negotiate what they want to keep, what they maybe want to change. It's very likely that something is going to get tweaked. However, the great news is that compared to the second stimulus check and package, the great news is that it will at least exist and be taken to the floor. Because if you guys remember from basically if we're talking about months and months ago, if you guys have been here for a while, consider subscribing if you guys haven't done so already. But the general idea is that when it came to the second stimulus package, we had multiple cases of back forth politics, all sorts of different things, conflict, and there were in many cases that it wasn't even that the stimulus package that people didn't agree on it per se, but it was actually because of specific politicians, especially Mitch McConnell. There were a lot of times that especially towards the end of last year, if you guys remember clearly, we ended up having a situation where almost every single person was finally in support of the $2,000 stimulus check. Trump was on board, regardless of your party. Both Republicans and Democrats were actually on board with the $2,000 stimulus check. And I think in a lot of ways, we do actually have to owe Trump in a way, because he is one of the people that really tried to fight for the $2,000 stimulus checks. I think regardless of which political party, I think that actually Trump had a very major role in terms of trying to push for a lot of the stimulus checks that did happen at the end of the day. But the big thing is that the difference is that now that we've officially completed the blue wave, every single stimulus package can now finally officially be taken onto the floor and at least get talked. There were a lot of packages from before. It wasn't that people couldn't agree on the package, but it was actually because Mitch McConnell physically didn't even want to take it onto the floor that was the reason why so many of these packages never happened. Now, whether or not we can finally approve it, that's something a little bit more debatable. But the great news is that the odds are definitely much higher than compared to the months and months that have basically been for the last couple of, basically most of last year. They're basically going to be working on drafting the bill over the next 1 to 2 weeks, and then once they finish drafting the bill, they're probably going to take the bill onto the floor, and then they're probably going to be debating on it, trying to see what they want to add, what they want to take out, what they maybe want to tweak. Thankfully, it'll probably have a much easier time compared to the second stimulus check and second stimulus package that you guys probably know the story. Subscribe if you guys are brand new here and haven't done so already to kind of continue getting the updates to join in. With the assumption they finally drafted in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're probably going to at least see some kind of voting or discussion happen probably around the very end of January to the beginning of February. It's also actually true because the Senate and House of Representatives are actually still currently kind of making the transition to kind of because they already have the new people inside, but they're basically just making the transition to kind of start the brand new era/term. And I think it's that once they do make that, that's when they can really start getting the stimulus check and stimulus package rolling, hopefully much faster than almost everything from the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. I do know one thing, maybe before they actually sign the third stimulus package, is that they're contemplating that they may even actually sign an executive order of some kind to extend the eviction and then the student loans. So if you happen to be on student loans, then you guys can hopefully have a little bit more time to kind of pay them off at 0 interest. And then if you guys are currently on the edge when it comes to paying rent, they're hoping to extend the eviction ban also to maybe possibly take it into something around the end of March. I think right now it's currently at the end of January, so they're hoping to try to maybe give another 1 to 2 months until hopefully the third stimulus package can hopefully finally gain approval by then. Especially since the pandemic, it's still really skyrocketing. I think the only difference between now and 1 year ago is that people have kind of already, I feel like everyone has kind of already gotten used to it, so they're kind of just taking it for what it is. I think after a while it almost feels like it's so bad, but at the same time I feel like people almost, just because it's just been like that for so long, people have kind of already semi became numb to it, or just they're basically just already used to it and kind of expect all of this stuff to happen. So I think Biden is really hoping to try to maybe change it, to finally, you know, at least get closer to finally recovering this whole country from everything that had to deal with the pandemic. But that's what I really wanted to share with you guys in today's update. So hopefully giving you guys a little bit more information about what to expect for the third stimulus package, what's currently going on inside of the White House, Congress, what to expect, what's going to come up in the next couple of days. So hopefully if you guys found some insight, remember to smash the like button because it always does help to support. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button to get future updates on stimulus and unemployment. Feel free to check out past videos, and feel free to comment any questions, personal thoughts about honestly just really anything at all, whether you've received stimulus, unemployment, just really anything at all. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Have a great upcoming weekend, or have a weekend if you guys are watching in the weekend, or the start of the brand new week, depending on when you're watching it. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.